Oh God, I didn't sign up for this. Not aliens, man. That's it. I am out. Seriously, we're fighting aliens now? Innies were bad enough, now we got friggin' aliens? Not me, man. I'm out. O-U-T, out!
Hey guys, it's Soizuki here again, and today we're going to talk about something a little bit different, I'd say. It still relates to human society, culture, and existence as it is on planet Earth, but I thought we'd tackle the topic of UFOs, aliens, extraterrestrials, and interstellar travel, or visitors from other star systems, and primarily why idiots tend not to subscribe or believe in the possibility of aliens, extraterrestrials. I mean, it's probably due to the fact that they may be religious, so it's not really in the Bible or Quran or whatever the fuck you're into believing, whatever your religious fantasy of choice may be. So it's hard really for those people to ever get on board with the acceptance and idea and possibility of other alien life forms existing in the vast universe of infinite time and space. So we'll just narrow it down to those ones that seem to want to demand a little more evidence and proof of the existence of extraterrestrial life and aliens traveling from other star systems in technologically advanced craft. So I won't go into the extra dimensional or spirit beings or whatever else has been, dreamt up and concocted of these days. And of course, I'm not dismissing those possibilities and claims, but let's just stick to the contemplation of the possibility of extraterrestrial beings that exist in the same physical realm and dimension as human beings, but come from other star systems far, far away, and why people just don't seem to want to believe. And it's generally those that just don't have enough evidence. They haven't really done enough research, and they've just made their mind up that aliens don't exist because they haven't seen enough conclusive evidence to support the possibility and existence of alien beings. So we'll start by setting some guidelines here, and essentially what I'm trying to say is that we really don't need too much evidence to believe in the possibility of alien beings coming from other planets and galaxies and star systems away from ours, of course. So if you take into account and you're aware of the Drake equation, which is basically taking into account all the stars and the possibility of planets revolving around those stars at the right distance and in the right circumstances and conditions to support advanced and technological capable life forms, then we can all agree that there are billions, trillions, and possibly an infinite number of stars out there in the wide, open, dark, expansive universe, which we have yet to measure its bounds. So essentially the Drake equation, it takes into account the number of stars, the possibility of life forms existing on planets that are surrounding those stars, which we've been able to detect due to variances and seeing basically shadows that are cast from planets passing in front of these distant stars, so we know that other planets do revolve around other stars. And the result is shockingly quite high, and there is a possibility of alien life existing on many planets, and of course not only just alien life, but technologically advanced civilizations much like ours, and the possibility of humanoid type beings occupying those planets and evolving to the point where they've been able to develop technology which enables them to travel interstellar distances. Which brings me to the point that in order for a civilization to make those leaps and bounds and achieve technological ability which would eventually propel them out of their own solar system and into other star systems and able to explore the vast reaches of space, I'm sure that they would have to have evolved fairly spiritually and overcome the temptation of war and total annihilation through the destruction and deployment of nuclear weapons, which it seems like the human race is right on track to be doing, which is quite a shame. But let's just stay on topic if we can, and we'll essentially iron out the creases and just give evidence to the possibility that aliens are visiting our planet. Well, not exactly evidence, but just a more likeliness of aliens out there and observing us as from other star systems and planets and possibly galaxies. And it's generally the idiots which tend to collapse on their own ideas and egos that no, they don't have enough evidence. Aliens haven't landed on the White House lawn or in Times Square, and we haven't seen enough proof that they exist, so therefore they don't exist, and they never will, and we're the only ones here in the universe, which I think Carl Sagan said, either we're alone in the universe or, we are not, and either prospect is terrifying. But if you imagine that aliens are here and they have been observing us for possibly centuries, I mean, there is Leonardo da Vinci paintings with depiction of these glowing type UFO objects, flying saucers, in the background of his paintings and stuff like that. So people do believe that aliens have been visiting us for a very long time. There's even talk that we and our DNA has been proven to be in such a sequence that the basic genetics the sequence of our DNA is in fact the way it is only through an artificial means of manipulation, which leads us to wonder what caused that if it didn't occur through natural means of evolution, that we've in fact been tampered with by an outside source that is wielding technology to manipulate our DNA and make us what we are as human beings. And you can kind of understand and see that the way we operate on Earth. We're a species out of balance and harmony with the natural world. It doesn't take too much to see the evidence of that. So, I mean, that's definitely another topic for further discussion. But we'll try just to understand the mindset of people that just don't want to believe that aliens exist and they are here and possibly visiting us. So let's move on and explore the evidence in support of that. And basically, from the amount that I've researched, which has been quite a fucking lot over the many decades, we have very credible sources, military, airline pilots, and of course regular citizens who have seen things that just can't be explained. And of course airline pilots in military, Air Force, Navy pilots, they have seen things which they can't explain, and of course they would be trained to understand and identify objects in the sky, because that's essentially their job, is to protect their nations from invading forces coming in by air, I guess, or even sea or whatever. But they're trained to observe and analyze and really scan the skies for other threats. And pilots have come out, military and obviously commercial, and they've seen things which they can't explain on many occasions. Objects which appear to accelerate at high speeds that seem to defy the laws of physics. So there's a lot of evidence in support, and a lot of credible people out there who are coming forward with the evidence. So there's no shortage of sane, credible, and more intelligent people than the ones who are trying to sort of deny the possibility of aliens existing. And of course we don't know what they are, for those of us who've never seen or experienced anything so miraculous. I mean, I've sort of seen a few things in the sky in my life, night and day, but I could still be quite unsure. I haven't myself been given conclusive, definitive evidence of aliens existing. So I could be on the fence really with the whole thing, but I feel like people with not even less imagination, but just who are a little bit closed-minded and unintelligent would probably steer more towards not believing in the possibility of aliens. So, I mean, let's just move on, and I will give my thoughts and ideas to support, in support of the case of the existence of extraterrestrial beings. So we can establish that there are credible people out there, intelligent, and highly trained people, professionals, pilots, military, who've seen things in the air and even on the ground, if you've done the research. And for today's discussion, and what really bothers me about the people who don't believe it is they want to see an alien land, in a very visible and public space, like the fucking White House or Times Square. And it's like, if you were an alien species, you had developed highly advanced technological systems and vehicles to reach planets of other star systems. Hopefully you'd have also developed the spiritual maturity to interfere with that ecosystem as less as possible. So you're not exactly going to go and land in one of the biggest cities in the world and say, hey guys, we're here, we're aliens, we exist. I mean, a lot of idiots who don't want to believe it, they would be fucking terrified. So it would be kind of an irresponsible thing for the aliens to do, really. So I would say, for a species capable of interstellar travel, they probably wouldn't do something like that, just reveal themselves to the public, who would be absolutely fucking terrified and just be frightened out of their minds if something like that did happen. So that's one reason you haven't seen the evidence for it, and they haven't been landing in public spaces, parks, and Times Square, or the middle of fucking London in Trafalgar Square, whatever. It's because they would be fairly intelligent species. It would be like us, like discovering a civilization on the moon. We wouldn't just go and announce ourselves, And the fact that if you'd done your research and you were analyzing and observing life on planet Earth, you would probably know that humans aren't the most kind, welcoming, and trustworthy species that you have ever encountered, and especially ones who have the capacity to develop technology, tools, and vehicles and weapons. Of course, I wouldn't just go and reveal myself to a very unstable and dangerous species like the human race. It wouldn't be a very smart move. If you consider all the things that we are capable of doing, murder, and of course atrocities that continue in the domestic realm, not even in a political realm. We're just very horrible, disgraceful beings, I would say. So I'm sure the aliens would have done their homework by now and realize what kind of species they're dealing with, and that they're not just going to land and walk out and say hi and want to shake hands with people who are generally quite violent and unpredictable, like humans are. I mean, we not only do we kill each other and our own species, we kill almost every other animal species, clearing the ocean of all the fish and all the other animals through the bycatch of massive fishing nets. So we're just stripping the world of everything and not living on a very responsible manner. So no, they're not going to land on the fucking White House lawn. Get over it. It's not going to happen. Okay, so the next next point that I want to make here is, if you think about the technology involved to travel interstellar distances in craft that you're able to travel inside, and you've developed that technology to do something like that, something so incredible, to travel at such a distance. Humans haven't really managed to break the surface of our own planet. We can send probes to other planets in our solar system. We've got satellites revolving around the Earth. Apparently we made it to the moon and back in the 60s and haven't gone there since, which isn't very far distance if you take all things into account. So we are very behind in our abilities to travel to another star system or another planet which is inhabited by humanoid type beings that have also developed technology, speech language, and other forms of communication, etc. So we aren't there yet. So what we need to do, and what I try to ask people to contemplate, is how far in the future would it take for us to develop technology to travel to another star system and another planet which contains intelligent life? Well, it could be anywhere between 500 to 1,000 or even 2,000 years or more. I mean, we still use rocket technology, rocket fuel to propel ourselves out into space, and we know that's a very inefficient way to actually travel in space, and of course to long distances and far-reaching places in space. So we wouldn't really get too far with rocket technology, and even with conventional means, we actually wouldn't be able to travel very far in a time period where the occupants of those craft would still be alive to reach their destination. It would just take too long, even through the speed of light. I think it would take us a very long time to get to our closest star, Proxima Centauri, I believe. I think that would take quite a long time. Even if we were able to travel at the speed of light, it would still mean that the passengers on board would have aged quite substantially by the time they arrived there. So conventional means of propulsion are definitely out of the question, so we need to have developed new ways and systems to travel without just using mass and force to project us to where we want to go. We need to essentially manipulate time, space, and gravity if we want to get to another star system and another planet which contains intelligent life. So I don't know how far human beings are in developing those systems and that technology, but if I look back and see how far we've come today in the past 100 years, it's pretty good, but not really that good if you look at our space programs today, and we have some little buggies zipping around on Mars. Well, they're not really zipping, they're just crawling and taking a few photos, I guess. If they're even in Mars, they may just be somewhere in a deserted island in Canada, perhaps. But we would really need to have developed our technology and solved problems of physics, gravity, time, and space. So it feels like we're quite a long way off of that. So if I'm going to be generous, maybe 500 to 1,000 years time, we may have solved those problems. So let's just project ourselves into the future to the point we were able to travel to another star system and planet which inhabits life. What other technology that we have today would also have advanced to a much higher degree? And of course we would have developed our nanotechnology, our drone technology, our communication, and of course our Wi-Fi would be off the fucking hook. So if there are aliens out there observing us with the technology it takes for interstellar travel and make it to our planet, their drone technology, their nanotechnology, and everything else, communications, remote control systems, would be 500 to 1,000 years in advance of what we have here as humans. So that would be quite incredible. They would probably not even need to come down here. They probably don't even need to be in our solar system. I mean, let's just say they need to be fairly close. They could probably just be hovering around the dark side of the moon, remote controlling drones, probably nano drones, and that look like bugs. They could probably create anything. Their 3D printing would be incredible. So they would just scan a fly or some sort of insect and create a nano drone that they already have, and and then just fly that into the atmosphere, drop it off, whatever, and let that just buzz around and observe human beings and gather information and data on us. So essentially, aliens wouldn't even need to be present and physically here inside craft to observe our planet. You think of the drone technology that we have. I mean, we can in the military, it's used to strike enemy targets. We can control these things, and we can also have them just buzzing around observing compounds and enemy territory in that. And we have powerful cameras with amazing ability to zoom in and really capture highly detailed images. So 500 to 1,000 years time, imagine what we're going to have, and if you step that far forward in time to the point where we as humans could travel to other planets that inhabit life, our technology would be incredible. So basically my point is that aliens, it's highly likely that they are here, and they don't even need to be physically present to be observing and analyzing human beings. Just take the technology we have right now, which is pretty cool really, but think of what it's going to be in 500 years time or 1,000 years time if we avoid major nuclear conflict. It's going to be absolutely incredible. We're not even going to need to actually go anywhere to get a good look at things. We'll have, as I said before, just nano drones buzzing around, observing the environment undetected. Our cloaking systems would be so damn good, as well as smaller, and, our camera resolution is just going to get higher. Our Wi-Fi and remote control capabilities will only, increase in distance. So, I guess what I'm trying to say is people who deny the possibility and existence of alien beings, observing, being here on planet Earth, just analyzing the human race, it's more likely than it isn't. It's and the people who deny that aren't really taking into account the advancements in technology that a alien species would achieve, also with the ability to travel the vast distances of space. So I think it's just a bit naive and stupid, and essentially that's why stupid people don't believe that aliens are here.